Yeah. Well, first I can say good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning, Teacher Peter.
I'm going to show you my book with this man here, Brian Cox, very famous Englishman, and he wants to know how everything makes itself. You are here, over here. If I walk over here, this is everything now. And if I look at everything now, I see solar systems, living things, plants and animals. But if I go back here, backwards, there's no solar system. There's no earth. There's no water. There's just stars making elements and elements making stars. But if I go back here, there's no stars. And just element number one and space. And if I go back here, there must be something here at the beginning that makes all this by itself. True or false? True. There's something inside here that Brian Cox really wants to know. What is inside here that can make all of this, and is here now sitting looking at this book, but it came out of here. That's you and me. Oh. I want to know what's in here. Brian Cox really wants to know what's in here. Let's see what Brian Cox says about what's in here. He says, there is a secret mystery in the heart of science, for which as yet we have no explanation. Nobody knows. That is, everything is simple. There must be something very, very easy in here that can make all of this. And it makes things get more and 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 more until I see everything around it. Now, underneath all the complex, all the different things, is something simple. And nowhere is that simplicity more obvious. You can see it in how we make the elements. How we make the elements. So let's answer Brian Cox's question of how we make the elements. If I put the elements here, I start with element number one, and I have to make all of these inside the start. What is making the elements? Itself. But if you've only got one thing, one thing can't make itself. Two things can. Stars can make elements and elements can make stars. If I've got two things, they can make themselves. If I've just got one, I cannot. So I need two things to make the elements. Now what Brian Cox says is that under here must be something that lets the elements make themselves. So if I go back here, right to the beginning, here's a picture. Is this something or nothing?
Nothing.
It's no thing, because there's no math shapes. If you can see math shapes, I've got something. But I need to make element number one, what I've got here. Now I've got space. I've got energy. But energy doesn't take up space. Everybody put your hand here. Now you can feel your head taking up space. True or false? True. Your head is heavy. True or false?
True.
It's got mass. But you can also feel it's hot. The heat doesn't take up any space. The heat isn't heavy. So that's just energy. So if I go back here, there's just energy. Now let me show you. If you break energy into two different parts, they make forces. And forces make things all by themselves. Let's show you. Here we've got the secret of everything. And we have to make an element. Let's break my energy here. Break the energy into plus energy. Lots of energy. Strong or weak. They're different. Plus or minus. If I've got plus and minus, they're the same but different. Everybody put your hands like that. Your hands are the same but different. The same but different. That's plus and minus. If I just use science, I've only got 3D. Science can't tell you why your hands are different. They say they're left and right, but plus and minus is math, not science. So if I go back here, I've got strong and weak, space. Strong and weak, energy. There's strong and weak energy, strong and weak space. I'm going to use that to make the elements. That's the strongest space. Plus and minus space, electromagnetic space. These elements and this space make electric-magnetic force. That sticks the elements together and makes bigger things, and things like water. And then these elements and this space, gravity space. There it is, all the different kinds of space. Here's all the elements. There's space, imaginary numbers, real numbers. There it is. These elements in this space, very, very weak, make the big things which are all the same shape. What shape is this?
A sphere.
It's a sphere. Are all the planets spheres?
Yes.
Yes. Are all the stars spheres? Yes. Gravity, space. And these elements only make spheres. But these elements and this space, electromagnetic space, can make any shape you want. Any shape you want. So let's make element number 1. I go up here, I've got strong and weak energy. I've also got strong and weak space. Now here, I've got 3 little bits. I've got to make a +1 because I don't have +1 in here. I've got plus imaginary space. I've got -1, that's already here. That's okay, but there's no +1, so I've got to make +1. Now I've got 3 little bits in here, red, green and blue. It's not 1, it's +2/3, 2, 3, electric magnetic space, +2. 2 and 2 is what?
4.
4 minus 1 is?
3.
3 over 3 is 1. Oh, I've done it. I've done it. I've got +1 unit of electric magnetic force. So that's okay. So I can say, tick. We've now got a +1. We've already got -1 here. So that's okay. I've got my strong and weak space here that make me my first element. So now I've got +1, element number 1, and space. That is going to change into stars and elements, which make more elements. So everything keeps making more of itself. There's a problem though, teacher. I don't like problems in science. There's a big line here. And over here, all this, which is just elements, changes into living things. Oh, here's my book of elements. Let's have a look in the book, see if there's any living things. No living things. That's here. But if I look in my book of living things, oh my goodness, let me see what the elements do now. Oh, who knows what this is? 3 letters, Joe. The elements here, if I look inside my rock, here, DNA. If I look inside the rock, there's all the elements to make DNA. But they're all like this. They're not organized. They're not in the right place. They're all in the wrong place. So how do you put them in the right place? If I just have elements, they won't put themselves in the right place. But if I've got elements in math, here, this is the elements, this is the science. Elements in math, I can see the elements start to put themselves into math shapes. So inside the rocks of the earth, the elements are all in the wrong place. They're just stuck together. So how do you get the elements out of the rocks? If I go back to the earth a long time ago, there's just rocks and water. Water does something very, very, very special to elements. If you put the rocks in the water, the ocean, great to see. Look what happens. This is why water is very, very special, and this is why all living things need water. Because when you put elements, things, the rocks into the water, into the ocean, look what happens. Oh my goodness. It starts to change the thing. Well, if you put your blood in there, it would look like that. Now what you can see is that the things, the elements, are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they are just one element big, one unit of element. Now all you can see is what colour?
Red.
So that's what water does. It changes elements into just one element big. And if they're just one element big, they can do the math all by themselves. They don't need people to do the math. They will do the math. And when elements start to do the math, they start to do this. They start to change to more and more and more math until they're starting to do math that looks like this. Now this is math which is telling the cells what to do. The living thing. So I've got my living thing, which is energy and math. Energy and math. Nothing else. Go back here, I've just got energy and I'm math. My math that makes things. It's the math that puts things in the right place. Look what happens to the math and the energy. It keeps changing into bigger cells. It keeps on making more and more different things. Balls of cells, which change into little animals and plants, which change into animals with heads, and left and right. That's you. Which keeps changing into animals with eyes and brains. It just keeps on and on and on, making more and more and more things. Animals with legs and hands, 2 eyes. It's always the right math. 2 eyes is the right math. It's the right number. If I go back, just look at math, doing math, 2 plus 2 is 4. There's only one answer. But this math, here, this is the math that always chooses the best answer. This is the math that makes living things. So let's show you. I've just got my math that gives one answer. I don't get living things. This math goes here. This math always chooses the best answer. And when it can make a better answer, it chooses a better answer. So that's very different. So now your math lesson has to change. You've got math making itself. Math and energy. Making more math and energy. So let's show you the math and energy on here. Making more math and energy. And then we'll do the water cycle. I'm going to start with energy, very strong, and math. What's W? Weak. So if I start here with lots and lots of energy, I'm going to say that's plus. Math is minus. Now the plus and minus are the same, but the energy is different. So that's strong and weak, plus and minus. So I keep making things with energy. I keep using the energy until I get here. There's no energy left. But I keep making more and more things. I start by making stars and elements. Then I make solar systems and planets. Then I make the water. And the water and the rocks changing to the living things. So my math is up here, and that's all the math that you can see everywhere around you. So let's have a look on your book. Can you see any math here? Can you see circles and sixes?
Yes.
Yes, you can. It's everywhere. So here I get lots of math, but all my energy has gone. That's minus, that's plus, but something very, very special happens here. These two can change. So when I get here, I've no energy left. I can change all this math back into energy, and I've got
Cycle.
a cycle.
Water.
It's not the water cycle or the motorcycle, but it is a very big cycle, the cycle of everything. Let's put some math up here that you can see. There we are. It's a cycle, so I go back to here. Start all over again.